My name is Karen Wiltshire and I am a climate professor at this university, Trinity College Dublin. And I'm trying to put all of the climate stuff that we have together in the university, all the different colleagues with all of their expertise. I'm trying to net them into one big, gigantic blob of interest so that we can move this really important thing forward. I actually studied environmental science in this university. And then I did a PhD in what's called hydrobiology. And then I did a Doctor of Science in hydrobiology. And hydrobiology is the study of everything to do with water and biology, really. So you can do marine stuff and you can do freshwater stuff, you can do drinking water, you can do anything with water. Because I was became a climate expert along the way because the oceans are so important. Now I'm a climate scientist. When I was an undergraduate, I just loved biology and I really loved my lecturers and I really loved being in university. It was kind of my thing after being sort of sitting in school and having to just follow curricula. It was really nice to be in an open-minded area. And I didn't really think too hard about where I wanted to go. But I used to look at the lecturers and I would think, God, they have a nice life. And I used to think of the professors and I think, they're kind of important. And I was a girl. And so I think, no, that's not going to be happening for you. It was a real bad time in Ireland. We were very poor. So I actually left Ireland and I had a massive career, much more massive than I ever had dreamed of. And you don't just plan stuff and hope that you walk a walk. You have to take opportunities and you have to turn them into something that you find exciting. And you don't wait for other people to come at you, really. If you want to be good at something, you have to be excited about it. In science, you have to be filled with curiosity. You have to find out what's the big question that really interests me. And if you lie awake at night and you think of that, one kind of finds a path, I think, of what interests one. One just has to let oneself go, maybe, and then try to squeeze one's interests into whatever life throws at you, really. And it could be a completely different path because actually, when I was in school, I applied for forestry in UCD and I got a letter saying I was a girl and I couldn't study forestry because they didn't have the amenities. And 2 years later, I could have studied forestry. I then thought I'd be a teacher and look where I landed. Completely different. I'm always a really kind of scared person. Like, I'm not exactly the coolest person on the planet when it comes to scary things. So I have this way of dealing with it, which is feel the fear and do it anyway. Like, I really have that in my head. And sometimes I have to take myself over the edge. And I mean, I have done some very over the edge stuff in my life and in my career. And once I've decided, it's really freaking me out and I'm really terrified, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Funnily enough, the fear then just becomes less. And the other thing is, if you really don't feel like jumping out of an aeroplane with an unopened parachute because it's going to freak you out for the rest of your life, well, you have to know, well, that just isn't for me as well. So it's balancing what other people are pushing you into and also particularly saying, actually, you can't do that. No, this constant slight undermining of one's capabilities, that's not so uncommon. And you just have to, I think, step back from it and say, well, I want to try that. And my experience with that is that 90% of my students as well, they can do pretty much everything they set their mind to. They might not be a Nobel Prize mathematician if they're a biologist, but they still get the maths right in whatever they're doing and they need it for. So it's about feeling the fear and still doing it.